Yo.
Welcome to Obsidian Extra Lives. I'm your host, player sports specialist Chris Stanick. I'm joined here today by Eva. I practiced it.
Go with your gut. You can do it.
Wierzbicki?
Yeah.
Wierzbicki.
Yeah.
An area design intern here at Obsidian. We're going to be hanging out, playing some Chicory, taking some questions. I'll be asking her some questions, all while raising money to help support the Children's Hospital of Orange County through Extra Life. Before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm Eva. I'm currently an area design intern here at Obsidian, but soon we'll be switching over to assistant world builder full-time.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. I went to game school at USC and graduated in 2020, and then I've kind of been making my way up towards a proper design position, and I finally made it here, so I'm very pleased to be here.
That's very awesome. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
gotta be
Thank
really
you.
exciting.
It is. I'm excited to get my dog now that I have a full-time position.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I don't, but I'm going to get my first dog. That's the goal.
What kind of dog do you want?
There's been a lot of debate about that.
Okay.
Definitely a rescue and definitely a small dog's apartment living. I know my partner really wants a Pomeranian, so we've been looking at Poms a lot, and then looking at mixes and stuff, like Pom Pug mixes and stuff.
Pom Pug.
They're real
We
cute.
just call them Pogs?
I've heard different words, yeah, but I'm down to call it Pogs.
Pog dog. This game's doing my work for me. This is
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go with burrito because I like burritos in all forms.
Awesome. If you had to choose a favorite burrito.
I mean, honestly, breakfast burritos always slap.
Yeah.
You can't
That's
go
the
wrong
right
with
answer.
that. So-
Yeah.
but say dinner burritos are also always hit the spot. I've only had one bad burrito ever.
Do you remember what the first game you ever played was?
The first full video game or a preschool level game? Because the first full game I did was Spyro.
Okay.
And I love Spyro. It's that got me into video games in general. But the first game ever was probably Macy's Playhouse.
Okay.
Little cartoon mouse. Just a preschooler game.
What did you do in Macy's Playhouse?
I think you dressed Macy. You got dressed. That's all I remember. Maybe you gave Macy a bath or something.
Okay.
I guess it's a baby game. It's cute.
Hey, you gotta learn how to get dressed.
Yeah.
That stuff's important.
Fashion.
Was it Chicory?
Where are you?
Was it because you seem to like cute games.
Yes, I do.
Was it the cuteness of Spyro, even in his old polygonal form?
Well, that made me love it so much. No, I don't think it. I mean, I liked the idea of a dragon. I think dragons are cool. But I really like the style of game. I like collectathons, and I thought exploring all the different worlds was very magical. I like seeing all these different locations and figuring out how to get to the platforms and stuff. Because there's some sneaky platforms.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
That game is more difficult if you're trying to get everything than if you were just playing through.
And I played it a lot. I beat it a lot, and I never was able to actually unlock the secret level by getting all the gems until I had my partner play it, and he did the flying levels because I was really bad at those. And I also could not get to the secret platform in treetops. It haunted me for years.
So after that, was Spyro you're man, I love games. I'm gonna be playing a lot of these moving forward.
It took me until, so my mom doesn't know anything about games, so she didn't really buy me games as much. So I kind of had to figure it out through osmosis, through friends and stuff. And so it wasn't until, I guess, the year that Skyward Sword came out, when Hyrule Historia came out, that I was getting really into Zelda, and I was playing Ocarina of Time, and I looked through this Hyrule Historia book and was like, wow, people really designed all this. There was a lot of thought into it. It's not just a game, it's more than that. And so that was what really, really got me into making games and what made me want to pursue a career in that.
So it was the Hyrule Historia and Skyward Sword. It was got you into it fully.
Yeah, I'd give credit to those.
Did you go back to play the older Zeldas afterwards?
Some of them. Not all of them. I went back and played Wind Waker, which I loved. I tried Majora's Mask, but that's too stressful for me, so I never finished that one, and I'm not going to. I tried Twilight Princess, and I want to finish that one, but I got busy, as one does.
That happens.
Yeah. But I still have it, so I'll go back and play it at some point.
Yeah, it'll be here.
Yeah. And then recently I've been trying to play more older, really popular games as well to just kind of fill in all that content that I missed throughout those years where I wasn't playing as many games.
Do you look at it when you're doing that, playing old games, are you doing it as a way to research history and then also just be I just want to play these games because I've heard they're good?
Both, yeah, definitely. So I like seeing why were these popular, and then of course a lot of them are dated, but be like, okay, like how did this inspire more modern games and more modern mechanics, and what can we pull and what can we leave behind in older games and stuff, and just seeing how designers have grown so much throughout the years and learned so much collectively. It's really cool.
It is really cool.
It's dope.
Especially when you see like the evolution of mechanics or ideas or things that have come and it was really rough, but then it's refined, and then you're just like, wow, it works so well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a beautiful thing.
You were talking about Skyward Sword and Zelda, and that kind of got you into games, and then you kind of wanted to work in them. Was there anything specifically about that game or those games that made you want to work in there and even go to school and learn it? Because some people will be like, well, I could teach myself programming, or there's so many other tools and things. Like, what made you decide that you wanted to go to school for it?
That's a good question. I think definitely the sense of adventure that the Zelda series as a whole gives and makes it, the form of escapism, as many people play games for that. But like really telling this beautiful story while using clever mechanics, blending those together. I mean, I know Skyward Sword, it might not be the most popular Zelda game, but it's my favorite. And I love how clever they are in their use of the mechanics and how you do go back to the different areas, but each time it's different. It's a different experience that plays off of your previous knowledge. And I think that they do that in a beautiful, clever way. And I think it's so much fun. And I think all the aspects of game design coming together to create like that fun adventure that you get home and you're like, I want to play my game. I love that. I think it's a great hobby and it's fun. I like games.
So you just like games so much and you're like, I'm going to school for this.
Yeah, I mean, well, I always knew I needed to do something creative.
Did you do like drawing or art or painting or writing?
Yeah, I did. I had done like a little bit of art, I guess, not in any professional sense. But like I went to an art school, so everyone around me were really, really talented artists. So I kind of just was surrounded by creativity a lot. And I originally thought maybe I want to be an Imagineer because I love Disney and like building stuff, and like also that creating like rides and attractions and stuff also creates that sense of immersion and sometimes adventure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful experiences. And then when I discovered games, and I was like, that I feel a connection to these like digital experiences that you can just come home whenever you want and really just get engrossed in.
So,
big brush.
Interactive design in high school, which is still kind of blowing my mind.
It was really like I was really fortunate to learn some of those tools going into college. I think that gave me a head start for sure.
So you already knew, like at high school, that's what you were looking to do. That's wild to me. So then, when you went to college, what like did they kind of expand on things more, or did you already know at that point you were like, I want to do area design or world building and things like that? Or
I didn't know right away. Yeah, so in high school it was more of just kind of learning tools, and we were still kids, so getting used to everything. College went more into actual design stuff, and they wanted us to figure out what facet of game design or game development they wanted us to do. And in our counselor kind of said, like, have 2 strong arms, 2 different things that you're good at.
Okay.
And it took me a while to figure out what I really liked. I was looking. Oh my God, a cat.
That's a kid.
that's a child. I had to figure out. Just put him in my pocket.
Yeah.
All right. I was doing a lot of like user research and stuff. But there was always like, this isn't. I definitely want to do something more creative, and so eventually I figured out that design. I just really vibed with it, and I kept wanting to do that. And I liked, like we said, the problem solving and making those experiences. In terms of area design, it wasn't until I did it in my like thesis project that I was like, this is it. This perfectly blends my love of design and my visual sense. Because I have done a lot of art, and you have to think about it as a puzzle. Like, how are the players going to approach this? What do they know? What do we need them to know? What are the goals? While I'm like creating a visual, it's like what are they going to see?
Yeah,
like cool areas.
So that's interesting because you did some graphic design as well, right? A little bit. So you have this graphic design background, a little, we'll say teeny bit, right?
Sure. I mean, not anything like
but
substantial in graphic design.
I mean, it was on your resume. Just going off what.
Oh yeah.
It was on there. I did my research. But then mixed with your UI research, like your research and your groups and your testing groups with Warner Brothers, correct?
Yeah, playtesting in there.
Playtesting that, and then your love of area design, seems like those all things kind of go together, right? Because like when you're designing an area, like if things need to be communicated through what like traditional design methods, like they need to be readable and clear or whatever and direct people, and then you have all this idea of people, how they interact with things and stuff from the research, and then you get that, and then you get to be creative and then make the space.
Yeah, definitely having that user research background gives you an advantage in being an advocate for the player and thinking of, you know, how people are going to approach this and being realistic about that. Because a lot of the times in design, you just have to kill your darlings, and knowing, like, understanding that beforehand is really nice to not be like, oh, my level. You know?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that's one thing that I learned as being, I have a background in graphic design, is, I just blanked out. Man, I was going to be so thoughtful and smart.
You're distracted by this beautiful man.
It's that you're too close to your own work. So when you're like, your blinders are on and you're looking at something and you're like, oh, this is the thing and this is the best thing, and then it's only until other people look at it, or in your case, play it or test it, then you're like, oh, I kind of overlooked all these things, and then you're like, you know.
I thought of to do this, but it's not clear for other people. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how you have like a language within what you've made and you understand it, but then when somebody gets their hand, they're like, I don't get what's going on here. What made you want to work at Obsidian?
Cola. So actually, like I said, when I was in high school, I was doing game design stuff, and I wanted to learn more about it. And so someone at Obsidian gave a talk, zucchini, gave a talk at UCI, and my mom works there, so I went to go see the talk, and he was just talking about the company, what game designers do, and it just seemed like a really cool place. I had never played an Obsidian game when I applied here. I just knew that the company was pretty cool. Did you bring that up during the interview?
They're like...
They asked, yeah, and I was like...
Were you honest? You were like...
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, I haven't played anything, but RPGs are really cool. I love Dragon Age. So we talked about Dragon Age. And the company itself just seemed really cool. And I'm really happy here. It lives up. It lives up to its expectations.
What kind of challenges did you face during the internship, or things like you were like, oh, I didn't think, you know, like... I would do this, and I've gotten the chance. Oh, the second jelly bean, since I had a good one?
Oh.
Were you given anything where you were like, oh, this is like, you kind of have a grasp on it, but it's like a little out of your reach, but you kind of rise to the occasion, sort of?
I mean, I feel like that's like every time, you know, especially when you're still learning, you don't feel super confident. But no, I feel like... What tests did I get early on? Well, there was a lot of onboarding.
Well, I mean, actually, why don't we talk about that before we say like your challenges?
I was like thinking of like, what have I done?
What have you been working on as an area design intern?
So
without specifics.
Yeah, originally it was like a lot of just ramp up stuff where I would read a lot like about the project, learn about that so I can actually work on it, and then I was doing practice stuff before I destroyed the project itself. And now I'm finally like doing actual stuff, and I've been given 2 actually main tasks. One that's more of an area design task, and the other that is focused more on a world builder task, which is the job that I'm going to have. So both of those are really interesting to me, and it's fun to we're still in the kind of ideation mode, so we've been juggling around a lot of those ideas and working on documents and stuff.
So is
Sad Lizard.
World builder, like bigger picture, and area is more focused like in a smaller
kind of. So area designers focus on one like maybe point of interest, and they build that out and construct it and maybe work on the narrative of it, and like if there's quests or like NPCs or whatever. And then World Builder focuses more on making the world as a whole feel populated, so that you're not just walking through wilderness for forever.
Okay.
And so those are tiny little POIs. And so my role is kind of a mix of the area design and environment art. So I would populate the world with areas and like set dress them as well.
Okay.
And implement whatever needs to be implemented.
So, have you played Elden Ring?
I have not. I have watched a video of someone playing, and that is it.
Even if you don't like Souls games, if like they're not your style because they're very difficult, I think you should play it because I think it does something really unique in the way that Breath of the Wild did, where, and I know that Breath of the Wild did theirs by, they had shapes of triangles and there's always interesting stuff behind them and you'd like want to go look at that. But this is like, there are things that are always catching your eye that you go and explore that are rewarding, right? And it's not just like, oh, it's like a nice thing. Like there's always a reward or something there at the end. And it's just been so engaging and like anti-open world in a way, in a sense where it's not like icons and go here and little dotted lines and things like that. It's giving the player a lot of trust.
Yeah, there's a whole stance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it seemed really cool actually, and I'm not usually the person who does challenging games like that, which is why I was hesitant to do it. But now that I've like kind of seen it, and I can be in the mindset of it's okay to die.
Yeah.
That's definitely a hump I had to get over. Now that I know to do that going in, I think I would like to play it at some point.
So we know your challenges was kind of everything because you're developing your confidence, kind of like how you said, right? What were some of your greatest successes so far during the internship?
Well, I think definitely tackling these two main tasks, basically, like the POI and the world stuff.
Yeah.
I feel really accomplished being able to like take on all that and like kind of get into the mindset of all that. So having these assignments are fairly new, but I think what I've been doing so far, I feel pretty accomplished.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was given a POI, making it my own. I was very proud of it in the end. I am very proud of it. So I'm happy. I think as people put questions in, this is like ice cream.
Made like a Neapolitan house.
Yeah, Lemon's a little bit picky. I've definitely started to learn some techniques about area design stuff that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of if it was just me doing it. Like, for example, it's good to have a level, if you have a fairly big level, to kind of keep it going in one direction for the most part, so that people aren't winding back and forth a whole lot, because it's really easy when you're going through a level, you're not thinking about it too much, to get turned around if you have to keep making 180 degrees turns. And so kind of thinking about the player in that mindset. Because I've been doing usability and stuff, and so I can think of like, what are people gonna think of when they see certain like things and objects and puzzles? But it's harder to do that with area design unless there's like a specific spot where they get confused.
Okay, here's one from Moon Glorious in the chat. And world building is their dream. What are the biggest challenges you had day one on the job?
Ooh. One thing is being confident with my designs. So I would definitely do something and then, second guess myself, but at the same time, I knew I was just, I was there to learn, I was there to practice, and I was just starting on my practice level, so it didn't have any actual big impacts on the game. It was just me learning stuff.
What was that?
I don't know. Sparkly eyes. Hello? A gift. Is it a pocket jacket? No, it's a stripey tee.
Stripey tee.
All right. Nice. Garbage. So kind of just figuring out how. Oh.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, the biggest challenge was figuring out how. There were so many different systems that like proprietary tools and stuff that interlock and they work together, and I had to read a lot to figure out how those all fit together, and figuring all that out was a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
That was weird.
That was kind of weird, right?
But yeah, I mean, and slowly gaining confidence. I wouldn't say it wasn't too much of a challenge, but it's definitely something to be aware of if you are starting out in games. Is to, like, if you get a job or you get an internship, like have a little faith. Like you got there. Like trust your gut, but also
it is important because like they wouldn't have taken you if they didn't think you had the skills or ability. Like yes, you're gonna make mistakes, and they
Everyone
expect that
does.
to happen, right? You're gonna learn a lot more if you let go of that anxiety or fear of failure.
Yeah. And of course, don't be arrogant about it. Like everyone, even directors have things to learn,
Yep.
So everyone's just wanting to make cool stuff, and be happy and have a good life. So
That's true.
yeah. Hard-hitting questions you're asking
Yeah,
me.
we don't mess around here. Yes, we do have to go back to doing other work now.
But this game's cute.
This game is very cute.
Cave. All right. Well, it's a good teaser for people who want to play it. I finished chapter 1. You know what the next goal is.
Yeah.
But you can go explore Nimble Cave yourself.
So, Eva, thank you so much for joining us, hanging out, helping raise money for the Chids, telling us about all you do here, and congratulations on getting the job.
Thank you so much.
And
I am
being
so excited.
Associate junior
Assistant world designer.
Assistant world designer.
Yes.
All the worlds are going to be coming from you their way.
Everything.
Everything.
I'm actually in charge of the game now.
Yep, the whole thing. So good luck. Take care, and we will see you all later, and have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.